kids, welcome back to another 5-minute Bible story. We're going to continue talking about love today. Last week we talked about Zacchaeus and how Jesus' love never fails. Zacchaeus was a tax collector, which is not a very well-liked person, but Jesus took the time to go to his house and show him that he loved him no matter what, and Zacchaeus changed his life from that day on. Today we're going to continue talking about love. Our theme verse for today is going to be Luke 10:27, and it says, "Love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, with all of your mind, and with all of your strength, and love your neighbors as yourself." So let's look and see what that means for us. So let's look at those words a little closer. We see love the Lord your God with all your heart. Your heart is where your feelings come from. That's an easy one because love is an emotion. So that's kind of the easiest one in the list. Next is love the Lord your God with all your soul. Your soul is who you are. It's what makes you you. It's like your personality. You have to love the Lord your God as if it's something that it makes you the way you are to love God. Then we see love the Lord your God with all of your mind. That's where your thoughts come from. Obviously, it's where your brain is. So you have to think about how much you love the Lord your God. And then the last one is love the Lord your God with all of your strength. That's where we put all of our time, our energy, and our effort. So that means we have to love God so much that we have to want to do things for him to show him that we love him. So now we're going to take a look at a guy named Daniel. Daniel did all the things on that list. He loved God with all of his heart, with all of his soul, with all of his mind, and with all of his strength. He lived a long, long time ago, and he was actually an advisor, or like a helper, to a guy named King Darius. King Darius was the king of a place called Babylon. This was a really powerful country. They kind of went and they conquered all of the small territories around them, and eventually they got a whole bunch of Jewish people, the Israelites, to come and work and serve them. So that's where Daniel came from. He was an Israelite, and he was a helper for King Darius. But more than that, he loved God and prayed to him every day. He prayed in the morning, he prayed in the afternoon, he prayed in the evening, and he just really loved God and wanted to spend more and more time talking to him and being with him. So Daniel was a really good advisor to King Darius, and King Darius showed him favor. He always asked Daniel hard questions because he knew that Daniel was going to give him good advice. This made a lot of the other advisors very, very jealous. So they came up with a plan. They said, let's trick King Darius into making a new law that makes it so that nobody can pray to anybody except for King Darius. King Darius, being a king, kings love that kind of praise. They love people telling them how awesome they are. So he said, that's a really good idea. Let's make it so that people can only pray to me because you know what? I'm the coolest guy there is. So they made this a law. You know what happened with Daniel? Do you think Daniel just said, oh, well, I got to follow this law. I'm going to stop talking to God right now because I don't really care if I talk to God. I'll just pray to King Darius. Nope, he didn't do that. He loved God with all of his heart, his soul, his mind, and all of his strength. And he made a promise that he would continue to pray to God. So he prayed in the morning, he prayed in the afternoon, and he prayed in the evening, just like nothing had ever happened. So these other advisors saw Daniel, and they knew that they had caught him. So they turned him into the king and said, look at Daniel. He's still praying to his God, and he's not praying to you. So they said, you should throw him into the lion's den. A lion's den is just as terrifying as it sounds. It's just a big area, like a pit or a cave, full of lions. And King Darius didn't really like this idea because he liked Daniel, but he knew he had set a law and he had to follow the law that he had made. So they went and they arrested Daniel and they had him thrown in the lion's den. And then they covered the opening so that he couldn't get out. But you know what happened? God, who loved Daniel just as much as Daniel loved him, sent an angel to protect Daniel. It said that the angel covered the lion's mouth and would not let them hurt Daniel. So in the morning, they rolled away the stone, and King Darius shouted down into the den, Daniel, are you okay? And Daniel answered, yep, I'm okay. I'm just hanging out here with my friends, these lions. And they were all amazed that Daniel was in there and he was unharmed. The lions had not hurt him or even scratched him or harmed a hair on his head. So King Darius was like, truly, Daniel's God is the one true God. And you know what happened? Those guys who schemed against Daniel and tried to get him hurt and even killed, King Darius said, you know what? Throw those guys into the lion's den because they tried to trick me when Daniel had the right answer all along. So not only did God protect Daniel, but he made King Darius show even more favor and give him more trust than he had even had before he had been thrown into the lion's den. So God can protect us and provide for us, and he shows us he loves us all the time by keeping us safe. So along with today's lesson, I will provide some resources for parents. That'll be up in the link above right here. If you click on that, it'll take you to a folder that has some coloring pages, activity pages, and a parent's guide. Parents, I urge you, there's some really cool questions in there. And also at the very bottom, there's 3 points to today's story and 3 points that kind of have to do with love. So kids, if you want, ask your parent or guardian or even an older sibling to help you with those. Go over those 3 points, have a discussion, talk more about why love is so cool and why it's so important for us to have that kind of relationship with God. And now we'll get to my favorite segment of the week. We're going to have another special guest. This week we have Miss Rainey, one of my really good friends, and her son, Momo. They're going to ask us our fun question for the week. So I'm passing it over to you, Rainey.
Hey everybody! It's Rainey and
Mama.
what makes you brave?
Flashlight.
Flashlight? How come the flashlight makes you brave?
Because it turns on.
Because it helps turns on and lights the way. All right, your turn. What makes you brave?
That's a great question. What makes you brave? So, what makes me brave? I would say my wife. My wife makes me brave. When it's nighttime, we're in bed and we're getting ready to go to bed. If we hear something upstairs that may or may not be our cats, I'm the one who has to go investigate. Not because I'm the tough guy, not because I think I can take whatever thing is up there that might want to hurt us, but because I love my wife and I would never want her to go up there and possibly get hurt. So my wife makes me brave, and my obligation is to protect her and keep her safe. I would love to hear your answers. What makes you brave? You can either post a comment down below this video via your parents, or you could even record a video and share that with us so that we can see your answer in person. So that brings us to the end of our 5-minute Bible story today. So like always, I'm going to say goodbye, but I just want to let you guys know I miss you very much, and I'm praying for you, and I cannot wait to see your smiling faces again. So that'll be it for this week. I will see you next week in our 5-minute Bible story. Bye, kids.